Looking at here, as you can see, it's quite a narrow farm track just away from a country road, and the body was found just dumped sort of halfway through one of those hedgerows. He'd been shot 5 times in the back, and he'd been pistol whipped over the head, as well as being severely beaten. And so this is where the case, or where the story really starts, and a murder investigation is launched.
This is the story of a murder of a promising young footballer who was killed 15 years ago after getting involved in gangs and drugs. After a complex and long investigation, 5 men were jailed, but then later set free. Police failings meant their convictions were overturned.
What we have seen here is a failure on the part of every agency of the state that was responsible for ensuring that the rule of law was upheld.
Detectives in a specialist protection unit had mishandled a key prosecution witness. Despite admitting being at the scene of the murder, he was paid a reward and went on a crime spree while under police protection. Conflicts of interest weren't disclosed in what appeared to be a serious perversion of the course of justice, according to an appeal court judge.
There was a cock-up, without a shadow of a doubt. There wasn't a cover-up and there wasn't a conspiracy. It was a terrible mistake.
Despite being under investigation for years, 4 officers were promoted to some of the top police jobs in the country. In this case, no one has been held to account and the killers remain free.
There's wrongdoings all around and nobody's in trouble. The 2 things just don't weigh up. I met him through a friend. He was a good person, like playing football, going to the gym and just hanging out, really. But he was very committed in football.
And you met him when you were living in Wolverhampton?
Yeah, I lived in Wolverhampton, and a friend phoned me and said that somebody liked me, so I went to see you. I was quite intrigued.
Leanne Williams was 18 when she met Kevin Nunes. He'd moved to this country from Jamaica a few years earlier. A promising footballer, he was playing semi-professionally for non-league Stafford Rangers and still hoped to make it at a higher level.
Yeah, he was on Tottenham Hotspur's books, and he played for Leyton Orient also. So when he came down here, my brother introduced him to Stafford Rangers, and Stafford Rangers loved him. You know, they was having scouts for him and everything. That was him. Brilliant footballer.
By 2002, Leanne was pregnant. Aged 20, Kevin's football ambitions had stalled and he was hanging out with local drug dealers who belonged to a notorious criminal gang based in Heathtown in Wolverhampton. He learned that there was money to be made by buying cheap cocaine in the West Midlands and taking it on what became known as the Aberdeen Run.
This is Wolverhampton train station, and this has particular significance in the story of Kevin Nunes. The prices that they could command up in Aberdeen were 3 or 4 times as much as they could here, and Kevin Nunes had seen what was going on and had tried to take a slice of that for himself and was making trips up and down.
Rob Gollidge is the investigations editor at the Express and Star newspaper, which is based in Wolverhampton. He spent years reporting on the Kevin Nunes story.
What we understand is that he'd seen an opportunity to try and take a cut for this himself, and he had been taken in for questioning by police north of the border, and then the gangs down here got wind of that and decided to take immediate action in the only way they know how, I guess.
One night in September 2002, Kevin didn't come home. Leanne began frantically ringing around, but no one knew where he was. Then she read a headline about a murder in the Express and Star and saw the story reported on BBC Midlands Today.
Detectives believe they're close to formally identifying the body, which was found on a grass verge close to a farm in Pattingham near Wolverhampton on Thursday night. A post-mortem examination has confirmed the victim, a black man in his late teens or early 20s, died from gunshot wounds.
They sent some uniformed police round, and then after that they come back and says, "Oh, do you want to come to the police station with us?" And that's when some Staffordshire police was there, and then it says, "Oh, could you take a statement from you?" And then the last thing they asked me is like describe what he was wearing, and then I said to him what he was wearing. His red cardigan, black jeans, white trainers. And they turned around and says, "Well, sorry to tell you, it is Kevin what we found, and then I just broke down and started crying. Up to this day, I really do not know really what happened and why.
And what was your reaction? I mean, you broke down in tears. What were you thinking?
I can't believe that he's dead. And it just felt like a movie, really. Like it was in a movie, it didn't feel real.
And you were pregnant at the time. You were, what,
Yeah.
5 months pregnant?
Yeah, it was just... It's the week after I was going to find out if I was having a boy or a girl. And obviously Kevin didn't have any children, this had been his first child. So yeah, just crying.
Flowers from friends and family of Kevin Nunes have now been placed in the country lane where he met a violent death, shot several times by his killer. His body was...
Staffordshire police made appeals for information but found it hard to make any headway. If, as they believed, Kevin was killed by drug gangs, then they knew it would be nearly impossible to find anyone who'd talk. For Leanne, it was a desperate time.
I was very depressed. I hated the world. I just felt like everybody was in on it. Didn't feel like I could trust anybody. I just felt like anybody who I saw, they knew something or they was involved. That's just my thinking. And I just didn't really want to speak to anybody at all, to be honest. I didn't go nowhere really. I kind of just kept myself to myself.
And what was the relationship you had with the police who were investigating Kevin's murder at the time?
I had a good interaction with them. They said they had over 1,000 statements, but they said that there was met with reluctancy and that wall of silence, which I know amongst the black community there's not really that trust there because we don't believe that they're for us.
And Leanne's